In the beginning of the story we see a woman named Beth, who just lost her husband named Owen to suicide. He has left her a lakeside home, where she starts to stay to process her grief. For a moment, she feels as though there is a shadowy image behind her, after sleeping there for the night. She goes to the dock where Owen's boat was, the same one he used in his final moments. When she was standing there at the dockside, she heard a gunshot and she got scared. Beth works as a high school teacher. She is visited by Becky, who is the mother of one of her students named Hunter. She comes to protest a C grade that Hunter got for his final assignment, which had been graded while Beth was out grieving. When pressed further by Becky, Beth explains to her how Owen took the boat out into the lake along with a handgun and shot himself through the mouth. She doesn't care what grade her students gets. Becky is left feeling guilty and accepts a B grade for Hunter. She went home and meets her neighbor, who comforted her for the loss of her husband. She then asked him about the gunshot sound she heard early in the morning. He said he did not hear anything. That same night, she was watching videos of Owen and herself from the time they spent together. Then in sadness she turns off the videos. While staying at the house, Beth finds floor plans for the house, indicating that Owen was building something there before he died. Later that night, Beth starts to hear music playing from downstairs. She gets a text from Owen's phone that tells her to go downstairs. When she calls the phone, the music stops, and she hears what sounds like Owen's voice telling her to look out the window. Beth goes to the window and looks outside to see what appears to be Owen standing naked by the beach. She then wakes up from this dream and goes to find Owen's phone. When she opens it to see that there were no other texts from him, besides the last one he left before his death. As she looks through his phone some more, Beth comes across a picture of a woman in a bookstore who looks almost exactly like her. The next day, Beth talks to Claire about the pictures she found in her husband's phone. Claire then tells her that he was a good man who would never cheat on her. Beth joins Claire and some friends for drinks, although they try to avoid the subject of Owen's death. It comes up and Claire mentions that he left a suicide note. She takes out the note from her purse and put it on the table. Everyone was shocked. Then she read the note, which says that you were right. There is nothing is after you. You're safe now. Claire takes Beth back to the lake house where Beth tells Claire that she once had an accident where she was dead for 4 minutes. And she told Owen that she saw nothing in that time, feeling like she was going through an endless tunnel. And she thinks that's what Owen was implying in his note. Beth appears to fall asleep by herself, with Claire seemingly having disappeared. She is drawn outside by what sounds like Owen's voice again. She went outside to check if it's really him. Suddenly she hears a girl's voice, and 2 young girls run past her. She tells them to stop, but they jump off the cliff in front of her. Another girl appears and does the same thing. She then goes to the dock and finds bloody footprints that appear to be walking toward her. She calls out for Owen if it's really him. She reaches her hand out and faints. Something picks her up and puts her on the boat. When she wakes up, she finds herself in front of the house, which is just like her. She sees herself and Owen in the bedroom window, with Owen trying to kiss Beth, but she pulls away from him. When Beth runs back to the house, it is morning, and she finds herself sleeping on the couch, and in turn, she awakens from the dream again. She goes through Owen's laptop and finds more pictures of the woman from the bookstore, as well as other women who bear a resemblance to Beth. Beth wanders through the woods that day, and she runs into her neighbor's named Mel, who is walking his dog and expresses concern over Beth going out by herself. Knowing what she is going through, and fearing she may do something reckless, Mel invites Beth over for lunch. She tells him that she will join him after the walk. She goes deep into the woods and comes across an abandoned house. She goes inside to search the house and find a doll. After that she goes to Mel's house and asks him about her husband. She also tells him that there is an abandoned house in the woods, and she found a doll there. What is he hiding from her? He later tells her that he did see Owen around the area with a woman that he thought was Beth, but when he called out to her, he saw it wasn't her. He didn't tell her earlier because Owen told him not to tell you. At night she again goes through Owen's belongings and found different books. There is even an artifact called a Louvre doll, which looks like a human figure impaled with 13 needles. On that book there was an address for the bookstore. Next day Beth visits the bookstore and meets the employee Madeline, The woman in Owen's pictures. Beth talks to her and reveals that she was Owen's wife and what happened to him. And Madeline all but confirms that she did spend time with Owen. When Beth returns home, she continues to be haunted by what she thinks is Owen's silhouette. Later, Madeline visits Beth since Owen had also taken her to the lake house before. Madeline tells Beth that she had only kissed Owen, not slept with him, but he had attempted to choke her, and she got away in time. Beth goes to the unfinished shed that Owen was working on, and her foot goes through a floorboard. There, Beth uncovers the corpses of several women, presumably the women in Owen's photos. Beth tries calling Claire to tell her, but she just leaves her a tearful voicemail trying to deny what Owen really was. In her continued grief and delusions, Beth continues to feel Owen's presence and begins to break down. As she just wants to be able to feel him again, the invisible force from earlier returns, and Beth appears to be able to hold and kiss it. When she asks the force if it's Owen, it replies that it isn't. She gets scared and tries to get out of the house, but the door closes. She sees an image of woman in the mirror and Owen attacking, and is killing her. Suddenly something picks her up and smashes her head in the mirror. She walks out of the bathroom, and she finds that Owen is killing many girls who look just like her. In shock, Beth walks to the couch and sees Owen himself, but speaking with the voice of some kind of demon that claims it was using Owen to carry out the killings, and that it had its eyes on Beth the whole time. She tries to run from that demon, but the demon gets hold of her by grabbing her arms and legs tied together in the air. The next morning, Claire goes to the house to look for Beth. She notices that Beth is not at home and gets worried. Claire calls out to Beth loud enough to draw Mel's attention. Beth is with a demon on the boat, who has taken the form of Owen. Both Beth and Demon are talking to each other. Demon is telling Beth that he is here for her. All she needs to do is pull the trigger. Beth is about to pull the trigger, but she hears Claire's voice. She then puts down the gun. Claire swims out to the boat just as Beth appears to snap out of her delusion. She swims back to the dock with Claire to meet Mel, and they both attempt to comfort her. Beth looks out to the lake and seemingly still sees the shadow of the demon. But when Mel asks what she is looking at, Beth says it's nothing. After that, story ends. If you like this video, please like, share and subscribe for more videos. Thank you.